This episode had some good things and bad things, but before I get into any of that, I want to talk about that fucking ending. Wow, this, Soul Eater Not took a very interesting dark turn. A really good dark turn, something I've been waiting on since the first episode. I knew this series was going to be completely different. It was obvious. Everybody knew that's still probably watching the series Soul Eater Not, probably knew it was going to be a lot different from the original Soul Eater. But this episode, we're starting to see actual action. We're starting to see dark plot coming in. We're seeing the actual main antagonist finally making her move. This episode was good. I mean, I felt it. I felt the evil vibes. When I first started this episode, I mean, obviously it was obvious when you saw the freaking witch making her move right at the beginning of this episode, but I mean, I felt the evil vibes, like something bad was going to happen this episode, and I just sensed it. And this happy, cheerful moment for this entire episode was just, you know, the calm before the storm until that ending. That ending, holy crap. Now, Eternal Feather pretty much cuts her neck, cuts her shoulder. I don't know exactly where she cut. They didn't exactly show that, but she tried to take her own life. Now, I want to tell you, this is the thing that probably a lot of people are questioning about that cliffhanger. Is she dead or is she not dead? I don't know what's going to happen, but I watched the preview for next episode, and we see Frankenstein in the preview. Now, if I am correct, Frankenstein, as we all know, is a fucking doctor. Now, he's willing to turn someone into a zombie before he lets someone die. So, most likely, if Eternal Feather, let's just say, does die, she'll be a zombie before she completely is gone. So, let's just put there, I think Eternal Feather is fine at this moment. But still, the point of it is, what this episode really tried to show was the actual threat this witch is that has came into Soul Eater Not. What kind of threat she stands. She's manipulating people. It looks like she can put poison in people and cause them to mind control the different people. Like how she poisoned Eternal Feather with that ring that injected, I'm guessing, scorpion poison. But here is a couple of problems I saw in this episode. Let's mention a couple. For one thing, okay, the entire scene with how the witch is just walking through fucking town. Now, you'd think with anyone with a ponytail that looks like a fucking scorpion would be kind of, you know, noticeable. But let's look past that. Let's just say that's normal, okay? This is Death City, by the way. Let's just say that. But you'd think someone would notice a weird, funky eyes, like different colored, multicolored eyes, shaped weird, and they'd probably say, that person looks very suspicious. I think we should probably tell someone about that. I mean, nobody notice that, and then Anya notices the eyes on Eternal Feather, so people are not blind to these weird eyes, so it's not that. Just right there, it kind of bugs me. It's nitpicking on my part. It's just like, oh my god, really? It's just so fucking obvious. She was a fucking villain. But besides that, that was really one of my only complaints about this episode. It was paced well, had a lot of development. We get to see Sugumi is actually just starting to see the darkness in Death City. Like, she realizes that her friends can get hurt now, and these witches are more of a threat. We also see something interesting about that master. It was mainly meant for comedy. They managed to keep comedy in this episode, along with, like I said, the dark themes. But the comedy part with the fucking master, when you just see the master stare at the customers, that face he get could frighten small fucking children, okay? That face was like a death stare. Freaking death stare. Overall, good episode. Like I said, I only have one complaint, but that's my nitpicking, honestly. And I like the way the series is going now. It's actually starting to ramp up, kick up, it's adding an action. Speaking of action, actually, there is one other part, and it also can be considered nitpicking in my entire eyes. It doesn't really downgrade the episode, honestly, but it is something very noticeable I do need to actually mention. The fighting animation, for instance, when we get to see the fight with Eternal Feather, that animation was derpy. It really was. I mean, it wasn't bad to unwatchable, and it didn't, like I said, downgrade the episode. Just the animation definitely was under budgeted, and you could definitely tell it just wasn't done well. But besides that, good episode. Tell me your thoughts on this episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite moments about it? Did you feel like this entire development at the end was fucking crazy? What do you feel about Frankenstein coming next fucking episode? And what do you feel about Eternal Feather almost taking her life, or she could possibly die? I don't know. But most likely Frankenstein will save her. And what do you feel about the death stare of the master? So everybody, I love you so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.